That's actually the first time I've publicly talked about the whole kidnapping thing.
You know, it's a very calm place, a very safe place.
Like, pretty much everyone involved in that is not alive, so I don't feel like there's anyone like upset by talking about it.
We don't want you getting in trouble or anything, man, but
FBI watching me.
you're not like on a list or anything, right?
I can't go to Russia.
It's like, this guy knows way too much
Yeah,
about weapons.
I don't even remember no Russian level. You know, the whole remember, no Russia. Or, I mean, remember, no Russian. Remember from Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
Where they,
absolutely.
yeah. I'm on their shit list.
That did it, huh? It didn't take that much.
That was my roommate, that, we can talk, are we rolling?
Keep going.
All right.
Yeah,
You remember
keep
No
going.
Russian?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's that was my roommate's idea, and I thought he was crazy at first, but then it made sense. So just to give the backstory, at the time, maybe still, like maybe the most shocking scene, like violent scene in a video game, right? And the whole idea is within the story of Modern Warfare 2, you had this Russian ultranationalist that wanted to bring Russia back to its former glory. Sounds kind of familiar.
Weird.
And basically, they set up. There was 3 or 4 Russians that pretended to be Americans in the story plot line, and they went into the Moscow airport and just started mowing people down. And normally, these kind of plot points are just like loading screen text, right? It's just something you tell the player, this really horrible, tragic thing happened, and then players are like, I don't care, like, oh, I read some things that happened, bad things happen, okay, whatever. There's no emotion. So really the only way to emotionally impact people in the way that they should be impacted is to actually put them there in that experience.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want horrible things to just always happen without there being any feeling from the player. Like one of the things that we wanted to do with the Modern Warfare series is make people feel uncomfortable. Like the C-130 levels were supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, because it's so disconnected, And so to further that story, you are an American who's pretending to be Russian while the Russians are pretending to be Americans. And so you're infiltrating their little group, and you go to this elevator, and the doors open, and there's, like Russian TSA, and they just start getting mowed down by the Russians. And it's the only level in the entire game, and any of the games I worked on, where you can get through without shooting a single person, which is the ironic thing, because you could actually shoot around people and pretend that you're shooting people at the Russian airport and finish the level, as long as they believe that you're actually doing it, right? You just have to act it.
Huh.
But in the end, doesn't matter how you play it. Makarov, who's like the head Russian dude, he just shoots you at the end, because they knew the whole time that you're an undercover American. And so that level got leaked before the game was out, with zero context. I mean, even with context, it's very shocking. But
how
imagine,
does that even happen? Like, how does something like that get leaked?
I think it was one of the media people had a video or something. I'm not even sure. I don't remember how it happened. But yeah, it got
Is there
leaked.
someone that we need to hunt down? That's the question we're
Yeah,
asking.
I
It's
wouldn't
really
mess with the Russians.
No. I mean the person who leaked it.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Connor knows some pretty shady people in Portsmouth.
Yeah. Some guy in a double wide out in Akron. I tell you what, reckon. But yeah, so that got leaked, and I remember BBC News was all over it. At the time I was traveling, I was in the UK. It was actually the first time a game had been revealed at Leicester Square, which is like their Hollywood in the UK. And BBC was like grilling me on like this violent level. The Parliament was meeting today about banning it and all this stuff. And I think just that week before, they were like voting on drone strikes and killing actual people. So I'm just like, look, guys, this is a video game. It's a story. I know it's shocking. You can pass you can actually skip the level. I think it was the first 2 of the first game where we're like, this is a very shocking level. Do you want to skip it? And you can say yes and not even play that entire level.
Man, how are you? Yeah, especially in the heat of the moment. That's wild, Leicester Square and everything. Like, how were you combating that or dealing with like the flood of questions that you're getting from people and the ethics of it and everything? You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't. Back then, I mean, there's been a lot of studies since then, and overwhelmingly show that video games do not cause people to be violent, right?
Right.
Back then there were a few, and I would point to those. But honestly, through media training and with Activision, they want you to speak to a Activision rep, which is good because I didn't have to answer it. I didn't have to answer it. But in general now, if it comes up, which doesn't come up very often now, like violence in video games, I just point to the studies. Like, hey, give me your email. I can send you a bunch of studies, over 20 years or so that show that there's not a link. So.
Mm-hmm.